On average, Carl Tundo and Tim Jessup were only 1 kph slower than Duncan, but it was enough to place them in second. Alistair Kavanagh was matching the front-end pace, but on one of the flat-out yumps, navigator Gavin Lawrence blacked out briefly when they landed heavily and understandably decided to withdraw. Carl Tundo's navigator Tim Jessup had a similar problem when they took the yump.
Oh! Ow, my head! Ow! Ow! 50 back brow times 2.
He continued to read the notes, but only fully recovered after the service break.
Positive. Ow!
Also out were Baldev Chaga and Raju Semi. The strain on the engine of their elderly Subaru was too much. The turbo blew, which quickly led to a blown engine.
There's only a certain limit a 15 or 18-year-old car can do. I mean, if you're trying to stay up at the top, you got to just push it over the limit, and this car just, poor thing, can't do it. I mean, it's a great car, but it just will not keep up with the Mitsus or the new Subarus.
Jas Mangat and Gihan De Silva in the other leading Subaru were flying through the stages. On the fast open straights, they were every bit as quick as the Mitsubishis, only losing out when the roads got twisty. They were in third, trailing by 25 seconds. With it being the Easter weekend, thousands of spectators from all around the country turned out to watch, mainly at the railway crossing at the end of stage 5.
Left 3, long right 4.
There was no time for Alex Horsey and Frank Gitau to settle into the new Evo 10, as they had to be totally committed from the start. They lack the experience of the others, but are always at their best when the route is fast and open. They were just over a minute behind in fourth. In fifth were Azhar Anwar and Julius Gige. The new colors on the Evo 8 may have given them renewed energy, but it didn't give the car the desperately needed power they needed, and they decided to settle for a tactical approach to stay in touch with the leaders, preserve the car, and apply pressure should any of those ahead falter. One crew that are always in the top 10 are Hadi Gresi and Ravi Soni. They were the fastest of the Division 2 drivers, more often than not setting times amongst the top 5, which for now rewarded them with 6th. After the first 3 stages, Ian Duncan held the lead by 15 seconds from Carl Tundo, with Jas Mangat in third. The next 3 were over a minute behind, closely spread by 30 seconds. On such a fast rally, the crews welcomed the twists and turns of the next 2 sections, where the focus was a combination of staying out of trouble and steering clear of the many rocks that littered the road.
Keep right and turn left 1.
Ian Duncan's attempts at the Eldoret Rally over the past 10 years have been in pickups, including a Toyota Land Cruiser in which he won the event in 1999, and recently in a Nissan Patrol, all of which have had big wheels not so susceptible to punctures. Since moving to the Evo 9, this advantage is gone, and they picked up a flat which lost them the lead, and they dropped to third.
Is it a long time since you've had to change a puncture?
No, because, okay, last rally we had it, but it was at the end, so we changed it at this stage. So we still remember that a little bit.
So the chances of recovery is pretty much gone, is it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
The stages were also not kind to Carl Tundo and Tim Jessup.
Right into medium left opens, into easy left.
They broke their gearbox at the end of stage 4, forcing them into retirement, much to the disappointment of the locals.
Nani namba moja? Tundo!
Jas Mangat and Gihan De Silva suddenly had a clear lead, but the elation was short-lived when they picked up a puncture and they plummeted down the leaderboard to 8th.
We've never had one event without problems in Kenya. That's the problem. I don't think we can recover. The only thing we can do is just keep our rhythm and see our stage times. Take it from there.
It was all change on the leaderboard, and Alex Horsey with Frank Gitau, who got through the stages clean, found themselves in the lead by nearly a minute.
Yes, that's going to add much more pressure to me, but luckily, hopefully, I can deal with pressure. This is my first genuine experience of it, and you see me in 3 stages time and tell me how I did. I'm getting to grips with the car. I'm getting a bit of a feeling for it. We've had a few small problems, but nothing to write home about. My reverse.
Azar Anwar and Julius Gige's tactics were paying off, and as each car ahead stumbled, they gained. The more technical stages suited them, and they were making up time anyway. But with 3 cars dropping back, they were now in second.
I've made a number of mistakes. We could have been quicker, but maybe only by about 15 seconds. That was my mistakes.
Okay, but if you find you're in with a good chance, I mean, isn't that going to sort of change your tactic?
No, I have to drive the way I have been driving, which is like almost to my max.
Hardeep Ressi and Ravi Soni were elevated to 4th with a podium place in sight when they hold their sump, adding their names to the growing list of retirements. With so many of the leaders sidelined, opportunities for a high placing were given to those running without problems. This included Onka Rai and Andrew Joy, who despite bending a front arm, were surprised to find themselves in 4th.
We actually bent an arm in one of the ruts. It didn't keep right. He called it, didn't keep right, bent the arm. So we had to take it easy for the 8-kilometer stage and then the 35-kilometer stage. So it wasn't 100%, but we still tried.
In 5th was another of the Cabra's Sugar Team cars, the Subaru N10 of Tajveer Rai and Bharat Patni. This was home ground for them, and they were responding to the local sport by showing a turn of speed not seen before, especially as this was only the 3rd rally they have entered.